What is the holy grail of the thing you're a collector of? I collect obsolete tech. My personal holy grail would have to be the Halcyon video game console from 1985. There were only a handful that were actually produced and most likely even fewer still floating around. Edit, please stop asking me what your stuff is worth. Imagine being the poor engineer expected to deliver that in 1985. Overambition is a huge, silent killer because it often gets completely ignored until way too late into a project, when there are sunk costs. I've worked at places that were overambitious and believed it was vital to success. They were unable to foresee their own failure and are now in dire straits. You just don't tend to look at all of the failures for inspiration, survivorship bias. After I went through most of Business Casual's videos on YouTube, I realized all of these entrepreneurs of successful companies never started with that business. They all had at least a couple other failed or mediocre ideas before. They just kept trying. But they were smart enough to see a dead end. While I do not personally collect vinyl, I love this story. During the early days of the White Stripes, Jack White teamed up with musician friend Brian Muldoon to form the Upholsterers. Both former upholsterers, the pair then hid 100 copies of their song Your Furniture Was Always Dead. I Was Just Afraid to Tell You and reupholstered furniture around Detroit in 2004. A few have been found, but last I checked only like 4 to 5. I just love the idea of opening up a chair and finding a Jack White album placed there by the man himself. I love that Jack White is just the Willy Wonka of music. Like, he's backcrap insane, but is absolutely in it for the love of the craft, and while he may not be the be-all end-all, he is prolific. Mad respect to both his crazy stunts and his genuine work to preserve both musical heritage and the image of the mad rock star. Jack White is super polarizing for good reason. I'm not into his music or personality, but some of his antics are definitely interesting. Like Willy Wonka. Like if someone told me Jack White was culpable for the death of several children in bizarre and fantastical accidents in his weird Lewis Carroll-esque recording studio, I wouldn't be at all surprised. He's also super intellectual in a business sense. For a long time now he's been a collector of vinyl pressing equipment, most of which isn't produced anymore. His vinyl pressing plant attached to his Third Man label headquarters in Detroit print a hefty market share of all vinyl that is made today. He also owns the Detroit Masonic Temple, which is an enormous beautiful building now a music venue. He's got his hands in enough pots. Vinyl manufacturer, recording studio, record label, writer, artist, performer, producer, engineer, he literally has become the music industry himself. Till. That's awesome. Wouldn't they be at risk of being destroyed by person using the chair? I definitely love the idea of real-life Easter eggs though. I'm sure some just ended up in landfills and no one ever knew. Nintendo World Championship Gold Cartridge NES. I have had dreams where I find this in a box at a garage sale. Unfortunately, all the gold ones are accounted for, so you would never find one at a garage sale. The gray carts though? Quite a few of those have gone missing over the years, so who knows. I met a guy who travels to retro gaming conventions and charges $5 or $10, don't remember, to take a picture with one. Dude got pissed when people tried to sneak a picture of it without him seeing. He wouldn't tell us how much he paid for it. This was like 2014-ish, so it probably wasn't as much as it would be now. There is a guy who dresses up as the Joker at cons, and is a huge bitch about pictures. He once tried to get me to pay him $25 for a photo, and I was just walking past him. Reminded me of the tip bastards in Hollywood and NY. Like he just stopped me and said photos are $25 and I was like, I'm here for action figures, I don't care about cosplay. Was it that I remember reading stories after he got famous for this cosplay that he was a bit of a douche knew about it? Web link. I know Anthony in real life. He was good friends with a roommate of mine back in like 2012-2014-ish. They used to film a movie review YouTube in my living room. He was a nice guy for the most part, but definitely weird, and you could always sense the douche hiding just beneath the surface, haha. There are more and more people like that. Cosplayers who either try to charge or carry a tip bucket with them as they meander through conventions. On occasion you find some who might invest in a backdrop and then will charge you for posing with them in front of that. It's all stupid though. That scene sadly went from being all about fandoms to being filled with lots of toxic people who are just trying to do anything to become insta-famous. The convention scene UN General changed. Autographs used to be free if you waited in a long line. Now you need to pay $25 a pop plus for an autograph for a guest who's getting paid already to be there. Everyone's got to find a hustle, I guess, but still, hearing cosplayers asking for tips is eesh. Probably ancient Greek or Roman coins which have been perfectly preserved. Fun fact, the Greek €1 coin has an ancient Greek coin on the back. Additional fun fact, all euro coins prior to 2007 have a map of the EU on them, but because Norway never joined the EU, Sweden and Finland looked like. They redesigned the coins to include the full map of Europe, including non-EU countries, which sadly makes it web link. As a Norwegian, knowing that without us, the other Nordic countries are just a big dick, is such a nice thought. I'm still in shock that I just clicked a link called a giant cock and balls. Stay safe on the internet, folks. I just clicked on it at work, but sometimes you have no choice but to click. In college, when I took world geography, we had to remember locations of countries and fill out a blank map for tests. I remembered Norway, Sweden, and Finland because they looked like a cock and balls and told myself NSFW. Hold on, this is what you learn in college? Crap, I had to do this in 6th grade social studies. My PhD thesis was tracing my hand and coloring it like a turkey. I passed. An original Bob Ross painting. He painted 3 for every show. Almost none are in circulation though. I got to see an exhibit of some of them in 2019. It was so cool, and a rare occurrence. There is a collection of his paintings stored near DC and they did a limited time gallery showing. Edit, apparently it was the largest collection of Ross paintings to ever be displayed at a gallery. Yes. The one in Purcellville. That was a dream come true for me. I hope they do it again. Most of his original paintings are still held in storage. Finding one for sale is unfortunately very rare. Web link. So these things must go for a pretty little penny? They are all owned by Bob Ross Incorporated or a little old lady who he gave one of the 3 he painted to. And they have no intention of selling anytime soon. Source, YouTube video, where are all the Bob Ross paintings? We found them. The New York Times. From what I understand, the snooty art community doesn't think too highly of Mr. Ross' work and they go for far less than you would imagine. For the few that are out there, too expensive for peasants but too cheap for rich people. Whack. I'd buy one. Sounds like a good investment to me. As detailed by this great New York Times video. Web link. I collect roller coaster credits, that is, I track the coasters I have ridden. There are a few grails, mostly coasters that only opened for a short time or were in obscure parts of the world. I have one of the holiest of grails. I rode Ring Degrees Racer at the Nürburgring during one of the 4 days it was open to the public. The only rarer credits out there are Twist Coaster Robin, Japan, only open for a few hours, and Orphan Rocker, never opened. It is estimated 4 people have ever ridden it. It was originally planned to accelerate from 0 to 217 km per hour, 135 miles per hour, in 2.5 seconds parallel to the Grand Prix track. However, 2 defects in the launch system delayed its opening until 2013. On September 3, 2009, engineers attempted to raise the ride to its full and intended speed as it had been testing at a lower power. However, this caused a series of explosions in the pneumatic system and caused injuries to 7 people, and shattered multiple windows in the nearby buildings. You crazy mother. Oh well, that effing sucks. It looks like a cool idea to have a roller coaster next to the track. That's pretty cool. My 1% claim to fame is I rode the Son of Beast, before they took the loop out. A family member was a lawyer and hinted that I shouldn't ride it, but we did. I rode Apollo's Chariot a year to the day, and in the exact same seat, as, legend is he got his nose broken by a bird, but that's not quite it. I was informed by park staff when my aunt was looking at purchasing photos. I worked in the grocery industry for a bit and have met him on multiple occasions when he was touring his supplement/protein powder at places I worked. When we first met, I told him about my roller coaster experience, and he had this enormous, bellowing laugh unlike his mostly subtle, smooth demeanor. He's recognized me every time since. Web link. Imagine enjoying your goose day and then getting your whole body smashed by Fabio. I rode that a ton when it still had the loop. I remember waiting in line for hours just to ride and thought it was one of the best things I'd ever ridden. I was so sad when the loop had to go and then the whole ride had to go. I grew up like an hour from Cedar Point. Every once in a while I'd be in line with hardcore coaster enthusiasts and they get me so hyped for a ride I'd been on 1,000 times low. There's a park in southern Ohio called Stricker's Grove. They normally operate as a private park for corporate outings, weddings, etc., but they do open to the public a handful of days each year. Getting there 2 credits requires a fair amount of luck, hoping for schedules and the weather to cooperate. If you miss, you could be waiting for quite a while for another chance. I've never heard of that being a thing, but sounds very cool. The Hulk vs. Wolverine comic, where Marvel introduced Wolverine as a side character not supposed to become big. Hulk 181. I had a chance to buy that for $300 back in 1988. How much is it to buy now? Everything. Like $80,000. Holy F, I got to dig out the comics. I thought the first edition Donald Duck comic was the most rare I have. I have this one. All of them are in the plastic cover things you could buy. Judging by this, I have $250,000 in comics but have no idea where I would sell them. Google it. There is a comic website that you can scan your barcode and it tells you a comic's value. Has a buy and sell option as well. I'd also ask around your city to your comic shops and see if they know of a place. Doubt they will buy it, but you never know. To be fair, if your Hulk 181 has a barcode, it's not worth anything. Original printings of that book won't have a barcode, only reprints. The last panel of Hulk 180, if anyone cares, but he's on the cover of 181. I'm lucky enough to have worked in a comic store in the 80s, so I have a few gems still floating around. I remember trying to find a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 129 back in the 80s at my local shop. It was pricey back then, but figured it would be worth it. First Punisher appearance. Couldn't find one. Probably would have been close to $100 at the time. They've gone anywhere from $300 to $9,000 since. I collect Beanie Babies. No, I don't think they'll get valuable, I just legitimately like them lol. Most Beanie Babies are worth very little. But for serious collectors, the Holy Grail is the Peanut the Elephant Beanie Baby, in royal blue. Only a small amount of royal blue peanuts were produced, 1,500 to 2,000 or so. Very soon after, the creator decided that peanut would look better in light blue. Teeny Beanie and Beanie Buddy royal blue peanuts were later produced on a larger scale. Royal blue peanut is probably the most valuable Beanie Baby, selling for up to $1,000. Damn. Friend of mine had parents and grandparents that loved the things. They gave them to him all the time. When he was 15, he started selling them. This was still around the height of the craze. He made like 20 grand or something, which his parents put away for him when he went to college. Pretty awesome. For some reason I think I remember Tabasco being worth a lot. Yeah, Tabasco got renamed for copyright reasons, so one with a Tabasco name on it was big with collectors. My girlfriend collects Beanie Babies. I used to as well as a kid. She has the Princess Diana bear and I have a sealed tie-dye bear named Jerry. It's very cool, since the Grateful Dead sued and got the bear renamed. The Princess Diana bear was the most demanded retail product I've ever seen. People were climbing store shelves to reach the pallets of storage on top. In my small city at the time, storefront displays were broken into. It was literally like scenes from Jingle All the Way, where everyone is trying to buy a Turbo Man doll. My ex-stepdad texted me the other day out of the blue saying he found a box of mine in the attic. Turns out it was from when our houses combined in 2001, so it had been up there for 20 years. Had all of my Beanie Babies in it, along with some other stuffed animals. Checked eBay and none are really valuable, but this event felt like a holy grail because now I have a 4-year-old who loves animals and lovies. But to be honest, I haven't given her the Beanie Babies yet. I set them aside, not sure what to do with them. All the other stuffed animals I put through the wash and gave them to her, including a reversible neon green and yellow Tamagotchi stuffed animal. LOL. Talk about a trip down memory lane. Holy Grail. I collect religious stuff. The Holy Grail really is the Holy Grail of Holy Grails. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.